Greetings, boys and girls. I have been looking forward to getting together with you for a long time, and I'm really excited about this new time that we're going to be able to have together. I've missed you all since this COVID thing has kept us all from being at church together, and since we can't do our children's time together. So what I thought I would do is once a week, start doing some readings for you. I want to share some books with you that I like. I want to share some books that maybe you like and know already. And I want to share some verses from the Bible when we get together. So just a short little video so that we could spend some time together and I could still continue to try and help you grow and love Jesus. So today I have a book by a lady named Lysa TerKeurst, and it's called It Will Be Okay, Trusting God Through Fear and Change. And maybe you've seen this book. Maybe mom and dad have helped you read this book before. It's about a little fox and it's about a little seed. And they become friends, and we need to see what happens in this book. Now, you won't be able to see the book or the pictures, but that's okay, because sometimes the best stories are the ones that we imagine in our heads. The best pictures are the ones that we can have in our heads. And no book can ever replace your imagination, boys and girls. So you always want to use your imagination when you're reading books together. Okay, so I want to read this story through. It's not a very long story, but it's a very important story because, sometimes we all get afraid. Even moms and dads can be afraid sometimes because things happen that we don't like and things happen that are out of our control. And this book teaches us a very important lesson about what we are supposed to do when we're afraid. Okay, so the story begins like this. In a dusty shed on a rickety shelf, hidden in a cozy pocket, lived a tiny seed. Day after day, little seed watched as the farmer came into the shed. The farmer's strong hands would reach into the packet and he would say, "I have a good plan for you," each time he selected a seed. Little seed knew the farmer was good and kind, but he did not want to leave his home. Little seed liked living inside the cozy pocket on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He did not want to go. In the nearby woods under the big tall trees, in a comfy den, lived a playful fox. Little Fox raced around the tree trunks in the woods. "Yippee!" he shouted with glee. But then a long black shadow scared him, and he hurried to hide in his den. He was scared of dark shadows, and howling winds, and rain, and almost everything. Little Fox liked his comfy den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods. He did not like being afraid. But one particularly dark night, a storm rumbled in the forest. Thunder boomed, lightning flashed, and rain poured into Little Fox's den. "Oh no!" Little Fox cried as he scurried through the woods, trying to find somewhere safe and dry and not so scary. He barreled inside the farmer's dusty shed, bumped into the rickety shelf, and knocked over the cozy seed packet. And Little Seed rolled out onto the floor. A surprised Little Fox found himself standing nose to nose with a very unhappy Little Seed. "I am Little Fox, and I live in the den under the big tall trees in the nearby woods," he explained. "I love to play in the woods, but I'm afraid of dark shadows and howling winds," he said. "There are no winds or shadows in your shed. Can I live here with you? Will you be my friend?" Little Seed said, "Do you see a pillow? Do you see a bed? Do you see a place to lay your wet head? No, you don't, because this safe place is the farmer's shed." But then Little Seed thought of how safe and warm and inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. He thought it might be quite nice to have a friend. So Little Fox and Little Seed became the best of friends. And Little Seed told silly stories, and Little Fox made funny faces. Each day when the farmer came into the shed, the Little Fox hid away. But the farmer was good, and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they didn't know it. One morning, the farmer came into the shed, as he had on many days. "Little Seed," he said as he placed him in his hand, "I have a wonderful plan for you. I have waited for just the right time, and today is the day." "Oh, no, please no, I don't want to go," thought the Little Seed. The farmer went outside and knelt down. He put Little Seed under the ground, into the dirt, and way down into a deep, dark, messy place. He pushed him. Now, little seed, this is going to be different, and it might seem scary, but it will be okay. You can trust me, said the farmer. And little seed wished he were inside the cozy packet on the rickety shelf in the farmer's dusty shed. I want to trust even when I can't see, but how in the world is this good for me? Little seed, come back, cried the little fox when he saw the farmer take his friend away. Where are you, little seed? He looked in front of the shed and behind the shed, but little seed was not there. He looked on top of the tractor and under the tractor, but the little seed was not there either. He looked under the duck's wings and inside the dog's floppy ears. He looked in the horse's stall, the pig's pen, and even in the farmer's boot. But little seed could not be found anywhere. Now little fox was really worried. Little seed, he shouted. I'm here, way down in the dirt. I'm scared and I'm lonely, but I'm not hurt, came little seed's muffled voice right below him. Little fox thought hard for something to say, or something to do that would help his friend not be scared, but he was afraid too. It's different and scary to be someplace new, but it will be okay, little seed. Little seed was not so sure, and neither was little fox. But the farmer was good and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even when they did not know it. Little fox stayed by little seed night after night and day after day. He was scared and lonely too. But after a while, little fox started to see how the farmer took care of them. Fresh water for little seed, sweet berries for little fox. He wasn't even quite so afraid when he saw the dark shadows or heard the howling wind. Little fox was starting to believe that the farmer was good and the farmer was kind. My friend, whispered the sleepy little fox to the little seed, go to sleep. It will be okay. Little seed sat in that dark and messy place for what seemed like a very long time. But one spring morning, little seed felt a mysterious stirring. He looked down and discovered he was no longer a little seed. He was becoming something brand new, something wonderful. He pushed up through the dirt, out of the dark dirt, and right through the ground. And there, looking sleepy-eyed and surprised, was his friend, little fox. Little fox looked down and saw a beautiful green sprout. My friend, they each exclaimed with glee. They were once again nose to nose, and little seed told silly stories, and little fox made funny faces. And after many days of fun, little seed said, Little fox, look up and see. It's hard to believe what's become of me. From the messy, dark place I grew and grew, from a seed to a tree. Only the farmer knew. Together they made it through the dark and scary time, and together they each learned that the farmer was good, and the farmer was kind, and the farmer was always watching over them, even in dark, messy places. Little seed was never supposed to be just a seed in the seed packet, and little fox was not supposed to be alone and afraid. The seasons came and the seasons went. Little seed grew into a big, strong tree, and little fox raced around his tree trunk, and sometimes little fox lay in the tall, cool grass near little seed. And the breeze tickled his nose, and the sun warmed his belly, and the good and kind farmer was always watching over them. Little seed liked things to stay the way they were, and little fox was sometimes afraid. But just as they learned to trust the farmer, we can learn to trust God. We do not need to fear. He has a wonderful plan. God loves you, and He is kind. And in the end, it really will be okay. The end. What a wonderful little story, boys and girls. And, this story teaches us exactly what the Bible teaches us. The story teaches us to trust God, even when things look dark and scary. And there's a great Bible verse that I want you to think about with your moms and dads, and you can talk about it with them. And it comes from the book of the Psalms in chapter 56. In chapter 56 of verse 3 and 4, King David said, When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me? And so David, even somebody as strong and as big and as important as David, understood what it was like to be afraid sometimes. And he said, when I am afraid, I will trust in God, in the God whose word I praise. So the Bible teaches us to trust God and to trust Jesus even when we don't understand things. Because you remember, the seed didn't know why he had to go in the dark ground. The seed didn't understand why he had to leave the farmer's shed. But the farmer knew. And do you remember that the fox didn't understand why he had to leave his den? He didn't know why things could sometimes be so scary. But the farmer knew. And the farmer had a place for both of them. So your moms and dads can help you talk about this story a little bit and some of the important elements in the story. Like, for example, Mom and Dad, how did the fox help the little seed? And why was the fox able to help the little seed when the little seed was in a dark and scary place? I'll have you ask you to maybe talk about that with your boys and girls, okay? And so we'll call it an end today to our time, boys and girls, but next Tuesday we're going to do another video. Sometimes I'll read stories to you like this one, and sometimes we'll read stories from the Bible together. And but always we want to learn, and always we want to grow in our trust for God and our trust of the Lord Jesus Christ, okay? And I hope that that all of you can maybe watch every week. And even think about this, that boys and girls who are far away from us might be able to watch. And so Jovi and Willow and Sawyer, even though they've moved away from us and are in North Carolina now, I hope they're able to watch with us. And doesn't it feel nice to know that you're watching with some of your friends, even if you can't be together when you're watching? And I think that's a good lesson for us to learn, okay? So, boys and girls, it was so good to see you, and I hope to get to see you in church again soon. And I love you, and I can't wait till we can all be together again. All right? God bless.